This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Welcome on in to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason here on a Friday. I was about to say beautiful Friday. It isn't. We don't have rain around, but the cloud cover is certainly building in for some storms that are in our short-term forecast and are looking to come into the region here in just a little while. So we'll be trekking all that out. But hey, the storms bring down one of the biggest cool downs I think I've seen so far this summer. It's going to be impressive. Hold on to your hats. So yeah, we're tracking big cool down, big time storms, and on top of that, we have your football forecast because guess what? It is Friday. Many of our ArkLaTex teams, obviously high school teams, in action here for week 2. Big difference this weekend, specifically for tonight compared to the conditions we had out last Friday. We'll go over that football forecast again in store for both high school and for the college ranks as well. Believe it or not, again, we usually go over 3 ArkLaTex teams. Grambling, LA Tech, and NSU. All 3 teams are out of town this week. So sorry, but there's no local ArkLaTex teams here. But we will go over the weather conditions of where they will be playing here for this weekend, and hopefully at least one of them could maybe notch out a surprise win. They are going over some formidable foes. We'll go over that in just a little moment as they get ready for Saturday. We'll have the forecast again for those specific locations. You have to be traveling or watching, whatever you have to be doing. Again, we'll go over that forecast a little later. So, again, lots to get to. Let me go over what I just said, essentially, to give you a rundown here on paper if you need to have it written in front of you. Again, we are tracking a big-time cool down coming. We're also tracking on to lots of storms coming into the ArkLaTex as this cold front is going to be bringing throughout the ArkLaTex as well. We're going to go over the specific timing, what we're watching out for with these storms. We're going to go over it all thoroughly in this First Alert Weather Breakdown. This is why we have the First Alert Weather Breakdown here, because guess what? In the shows, I have enough time to go over the timing. I have enough time to go over the threats, but sometimes I rush over specific points, and then people go, wait a minute, could you go over that again? One more time, please, thoroughly or slowly? That's what the First Alert Weather Breakdown's here for, all right? To help you with, again, going over everything thoroughly, examining each and every little detail, little crevice that the weather forecast could bring. And if I don't answer your specific question, guess what? That's what our YouTube stream is there for, okay? It is there for specifically questions during the stream, all right? Cool. So that's what we're going over here for the day today. Lots to go over, obviously, weather-wise. So let's hop into it. Obviously, I want to acknowledge those of you. I see 2, 3, 4 of you watching on our YouTube stream. So thank you. Appreciate it, always. Let's get into our First Alert Weather Breakdown. This is always the point in time where I got to push lots of different buttons as I try to talk to you at the same time. Mattress Plus Skycam there in Shreveport, Louisiana. Hey, some sunshine's coming on through today, but what's the big difference on this webcam today compared to yesterday? The skies, and that's the biggest difference, certainly, because the temperatures are the same. We'll go over the current temperatures in just a moment. Temperature outlook's kind of similar here for this Friday, but the conditions certainly different. We saw nothing but sunshine and blue sky on our webcams out yesterday. Today, cloud cover, and a good amount of it. That's all mostly gray skies. To be fair, some of it's thin layers, so some sunlight's definitely coming on through. And specifically, the sun is coming off of the right side of this camera here, so there might not be cloud cover with the sunlight right now, but you get the picture. We're building up the cloud cover here today to eventually lead us to storms that are eventually going to happen in the ArkLaTex. So this is not just the picture in Shreveport. This is pretty much the picture everywhere. Texarkana, I think getting a little more sunshine on through, but still some high-level cloud cover that you can look at real closely there on that camera. All right. So let's go over the what-to-wear forecast here for the day today because I know storms are coming. They're on the way. The clouds are already building into the ArkLaTex, so some of you might be like, okay, I need to prep myself up for storms coming in just a few hours. No. This is a slow mover, At least it starts off as a slow mover. I'll show you exactly where the storms are here in just a little bit, but I really want to emphasize that you don't need the rain gear throughout the day today. No umbrella, no rain boots. We're not expecting storms in here earliest until like 8, 9 p.m. here for the most part. We're not expected to build in a scattered thread of storms in for a specific location in the ArkLaTex until 8, 9, 10 p.m. tonight. Again, late tonight, after the daytime is done, after the work day is done, after the school day is done. So you don't need to worry about it for you or your kiddos if they're still headed off to school or at school. If you forgot the rain gear for your kiddos at school and was like, oh my goodness, my bad, you're fine. You're fine, okay? That's what I'm trying to get at with this graphic, okay? You're fine here for the day today. Let's check out your weather headlines. Overall, today is looking sunny. There's still a little bit of cloud cover around, yes. But it is looking hot. We'll go over the temperatures here in just a little bit. Meanwhile, this weekend, much cooler, bringing us one round of storms. Now, I know what that picture says. Yes, it's a stormy weekend, which we will have storms here for this weekend. But I do want to also emphasize you will have lots of time to enjoy dry conditions over this weekend. Trust me, you will, okay? We're just expecting to have one big round of storms that will encompass a few hours in for a specific area of the in for your own area of the ArkLaTex, but we'll still have plenty of time to enjoy and get out and enjoy some dry conditions here for your weekend. Next week, though, it's back like we never left it. I know the big focus short term is when are the storms happening? When is this cool down coming so that I can, get out on my walk and thoroughly enjoy it? But enjoy that while it lasts because we do bring back in not only sunshine but also hot temperatures, summer-like heats returning back next week as well. We'll go over that here in just a little bit. All right, let's get into the temperature outlook of things, and then we'll go over what's happening with the storms second. That's kind of always how we do things in the first low weather breakdown. So there's still a lot to thoroughly go over with the temperatures. As I said, major temperature cool down here between both today and tomorrow. For now, it is hot. That is what Friday will be alone before the cool down happens. We have 84 in Shreveport, 84 currently in Texarkana, 85 in Natchitoches as the temperatures continue to change and update as I'm speaking and continue to rise by another degree or two. 84 Magnolia, 85 in Marshall, 81 in Minden, 83 in Fort Carthage. All right, so that again, keep in mind that's the actual temperature. Feels like temperature, which includes the humidity. Oh, man, that is 96 degrees in Natchitoches here already at this hour, and it's just past 10:30 a.m. Goes to show you, summer heat, summer humidity, it's back here, at least just for today. 91 in Shreveport is what it currently feels like, 88 in Texarkana, 84 into the Queen. So, again, back into summertime. I think I've thoroughly gone over that. Let's go over the big picture of things, and then we'll get into more specific temperatures. This is our cool down that is coming on the way. That's the cold front. It's off to our north, and the cool down is with these storms that are trying to maneuver into the region. Look at this. First of all, I want to talk about this. This is the remnants of what was Lorena that hit the Mexican coastline. It's essentially lost all its circulation and moisture because all its moisture is being sucked up into this cold front, essentially. Look at all the moisture. It's trailing all the way from Mexico up northeast and fueling this cold front, essentially, with lots of tropical moisture that's spanning all the way up through Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, a little closer to home through Oklahoma, and starting to fill a good amount of northern Arkansas as well. And you can even see a little bit of that cloud cover even stretching into the ArkLaTex now. Again, we'll go over the current radar picture even in just a moment, but most of us are staying dry here for the time being. But boy, does that look a little threatening here as we continue to see the storms itch their way a little closer and kind of get slowly closer and closer here to the ArkLaTex. So highs today, 96 degrees. Keep in mind, these are the actual highs today. 95 in the Texarkana. Keep this in mind because then we turn off the heat like the flip of a switch. Check out these highs tomorrow here for your Saturday. 80 in Shreveport, 75 in Texarkana. You're talking a 15 to 20 degree temperature drop between today and tomorrow. It is going to be really impressive in throughout the ArkLaTex. So, hey, peak cool conditions. The hottest temperature I think that we see, the actual high, is 84 in Nacogdoches and Natchitoches. So, Feels like temperatures up to around 105. We don't have any heat alerts in place here for the day today, but we are close to a heat advisory level territory in throughout the ArkLaTex. Kind of just goes to show you how excessively hot we could get here for this afternoon. Then there goes that cold front again. It's going to be happening late tonight and into the overnight hours. That's when it crawls on through so that tomorrow we don't face any of that heat at all. Not only that, it's also going to help remove a good amount of humidity, which we'll talk more about in just a second. But those feels like temperatures getting quickly down into the 80s, which will be nice. Not only that, it could drop our mornings into the 60s, too. That's going to be impressive to wake up to. So essentially, here's your muggy meter. Not only is our heat falling off, but this kind of goes to show you that our humidity is greatly dropping, especially between Saturday and Sunday. Keep in mind that humidity level is where it says oppressive is mainly in store for Saturday morning. I really think we eliminate most of this once the rain goes away in for Saturday afternoon. That's going to lead into comfortable air. And that meter is thoroughly comfortable. This isn't even just on the edge of muggy and comfortable. This is way down there on for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Yes, we will heat up back a little bit next week. We'll talk more on that in 7-day forecast. But hey, at least for a span of 3 to 4 days, enjoy it for the most of the weekend and for the early part of next week. Now, obviously, with a big cool down, that's all going to come with big storm chances and a big chance for some severe storms at that, too, as we kind of toss and transition into the storm side of things and what's expected. So we have a major cold front coming on in that's going to be giving us severe storms. That's going to be looking to give us a chance for hail, strong winds, and heavy downpours, and lots of lightning and thunder. So your typical thunderstorms coming on through. I don't really see a tornado risk with this at all, which is good news. We shouldn't have to worry about tornado warnings at all between when the timing of when these storms are going to come on through. All right, so first our Doppler radar. This is the current picture at this hour. Right at 10:42. The only thing we're seeing, and to be fair, this is a little surprising, is we're getting a little bit of storms just barely cutting into the very edge of the ArkLaTex technically, with a line of storms that's going essentially southwest to northeast. It's not even trying to roll into the rest of the region. Maybe a little light rain into Red River County, but essentially we're getting a few cells working their way across northern side of McCurtain County. This is even north of Broken Bow and Idabel, just to tell you how far north this is. And this is slowly going to try to meander south and eastward, but I really think we hold off the bulk of the rain chance until we get into tonight. So even the future track, guess what? This is all the way through 5 p.m. I know you're going to want to thoroughly pay attention to this. All the way through 5 p.m., nobody's seeing much in terms of storm chances at all, okay? So it goes to show you, as I said earlier with the what to wear forecast, you don't have to worry about the storms much here for the day today. During the day itself. Once we get into tonight, could affect Friday Night Football. We do have a forecast for that specifically, obviously in our exclusive content coming up here in just a little bit. But essentially, the soonest storms can get in here is around 7, 8 p.m. And to be fair, that starts in a very isolated location. And this is our brand new future track, which is just updated about 30 minutes ago, which I'm just seeing now actually for the first time since I last looked at this about an hour ago. We're essentially getting heavy rain mainly through areas along and north of the I-30 corridor late tonight. Look at this. This is a picture around midnight where we're facing a little more of a scattered coverage of storms across those areas, but keep in mind, for those of you going out to any Friday night plans, especially south of I-30, I think you're okay. I think you're dry. Most of these storms start to spread into the overnight hours. That's when it becomes a lot more of an issue, because that's when we build in I wouldn't even say scattered. I would say widespread storms here for early tomorrow morning. Look at the timing on the future track. This is around 5:30 in the morning. And keep in mind, the leading edge of this is what you're going to watch out for some of the heaviest rain, containing that chance for hail and strong winds, and waking you up with some lightning and thunder early tomorrow morning. So essentially, this is good. This is happening kind of, while you're asleep so that you can enjoy the majority of your plans here for Saturday and Sunday. But keep in mind, this might wake you up, essentially. Don't be surprised if it does. This could hang around for a good portion of the morning. Look at the storm, still pretty scattered and widespread in throughout the morning hours. But then slowly but surely around lunchtime, the storm threat starts to slowly but surely dry itself out. in throughout the region. And hopefully by Saturday afternoon, I think we still hang around with the cloud cover, and the ground is still going to be soaked in for the afternoon hours, but it will be dry by then. You get to go out and around the region, and then for Sunday, there's a little chance of storms maybe popping up with that cloud cover in some other areas, in some other future tracks, especially in areas in East Texas south of I-20 there for Sunday morning. But besides that, I really think the bulk of us are dry here for Sunday, and that's going to continue into next work week. Overall, this is just, this is the only rain chance I see in sight. Next work week is dry, bone dry. All right, so again, we do have a severe weather risk, which has been mentioned by the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center. It's a marginal risk only, but regardless, this is not your typical summer thunderstorms popping up. This indicates to us from the National Weather Service that you could receive the threat of hail and strong winds coming on through. This is not due to a tornado risk. I should not see tornadoes with this at all, which means you can sleep tonight, okay, without having to worry about getting up for tornado warnings, waking you up on your cell phone or anything like that. Most of this happens along and north of I-20. I think we'll still get heavy rain for areas in the southern half of the ArkLaTex, but the severe threat itself dies out a little bit as it tries to reach south of I-20. Again, that's between tonight and early tomorrow morning. All right, football forecast. We're going to go over that in just a little bit. I'm actually going to skip over that purposely because we're going to go over that specifically in the exclusive content with the other football forecasts that we have in store. Now, for other lifestyle forecasts, again, this is a forecast just for your weekend, as we just mentioned. Scattered storms mainly for Saturday, and as we just showed you with the timing, that's going to happen early in the morning here for the most part. But that could still persist throughout a little bit of the morning hours before drying up into the afternoon. But Saturday afternoon and pretty much all, if not most, if not all, of Sunday are looking nice and dry. Look at the highs, though. 80, 85. Comfortable, especially with the humidity being incredibly low. It's going to be feeling nice for the weekend. Maybe not even like pool weather, heat in for the region. All right, so to go over the rain here one last time, exactly with the timing of things. Before we go over the tropics, we do have one tropic segment before our 7-day forecast. For Friday, late tonight, again, as we saw with the timing, this is like 9, 10, 11 p.m. You might find storms late tonight along and north of I-30. The round of storms that hit, it's everybody. Again, this is going to be widespread storms that attacks the entire ArkLaTex. That's going to be for Saturday morning. It hopefully clears up by Saturday afternoon. I believe it should. Sunday, storms early, but keep in mind that's only going to be across eastern Texas, if that. And then once we head into next week, we're, again, rain-free. All right, first look, check to your tropics here. Before I even get started on the Atlantic, a little bit of action in the Pacific. I don't have a graphic on this, but Hurricane Kiko, I believe, is a Cat 3 that's going to be attacking. Just some quick notes. Hurricane Kiko is a Cat 3 that's going to be hitting Hawaii early next week. Hawaii, not really known as a hurricane magnet, but it's going to be hit by Kiko, which will weaken before it hits Hawaii, which is good news. But it looks like it's going to hit it with some torrential rainfall as a tropical storm, which could still be giving it Hawaii some strong winds and some rain early next week. We also have the remnants of Lorena, which has been hitting Mexico, which is fueling our storm chance, essentially, but back here home in the ArkLaTex here for tomorrow. But turning our eyes into the Atlantic, this is what's going on. We've been continually watching this, it feels like for the past week now. A continuous one area of interest that now has a 90% chance of forming, so it's most likely going to form in the days ahead. But we still have plenty, I really want to stress this, we have plenty of time to track out this system as it continues to move westward. We now have spaghetti models out to us in from different models, which consistently try to, especially new at this hour, are trying to maneuver this system up northward after it hits the Caribbean islands, which would be good to keep it out of the Gulf, which is good news. But just, the tail end of that spaghetti graph where you're seeing these letters, just, up and around here, the positioning for that storm would be a week away from today. So this is not going to hit the Caribbean islands until earliest around Thursday or Friday of next week. Plenty of chances and plenty of time overall to track that thing out if it wants to form. That's what I'm trying to get at. Obviously, still peak of the season, still for the next month or so, and we could eventually see something in the Gulf later down the road. But for now, everything's still looking clear. 7-day forecast. Again, just a slim chance of rain there between Friday and Sunday. All of our main rain showers, which are going to be widespread, are going to be hitting you on Saturday morning. And it could start again early in the morning, too. Then, lots of sunshine in for next work week. We get the highs slowly but surely working up itself each and every day. Again, 96 today, down to 80 on Saturday. Going to be so nice. But after Saturday, you'll pretty much see that temperature slowly but steadily rise in each and every day through the rest of the 7-day forecast. We're back up to highs around the mid-90s by Thursday of next week. So the summer heat. I just repeated that twice. The summer heat, the summer humidity, it's going to be returning. It is going to be returning. This is not a question of if the cooler temperatures are going to stay around. Hey, we have highs below 90 degrees for 4 days. That's going to be pleasant enough. But the heat and humidity, it's going to return once again. As long as we're in September, maybe October, it might finally stick around. We'll see. Last thing I want to mention about the 7-day forecast, but I haven't even talked about much at all. Look at the morning lows next week. That is another thing that'll be steadily decreasing here. Actually, after the cold front hits, we're down to a lows potentially more widespread in the 60s by Sunday morning. And then for early next week, Monday and Tuesday, even Wednesday, we could have morning lows in the low to mid 60s. That's about 10 degrees cooler than what we've usually been waking up to in the mornings. Kind of an underlying theme that we really haven't talked about at all in our weather forecast much whatsoever. So maybe plan for next work week, waking up to work and school. You might need to plan on an extra layer. To be fair, it's 60s, which means, not grabbing a heavy coat by any means, but maybe just some sleeves, at least to start off your day here for early next week. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't you go anywhere. We have football forecast for you in store. We're going to go thoroughly over what's happening with the football games here for Friday night tonight. By the way, overtime's coming up here late tonight. We'll show you the weather forecast here that you can expect for the high school football games tonight. And exclusive look into what the weather is going to be like for NSU, LA Tech, and Grambling, as all three of those teams are on the road. We'll see where they're going. We'll see what the weather forecast is going to be, where they're going as well, coming up after this. Welcome on back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. It's time for the exclusive content here for today, which on Friday, especially during fall, it's all about football. Week 2 of high school and college football back in the ArkLaTex. Now, to kickstart this, first of all, I always say if I wasn't a weatherman, what other job would I have at KSLA News 12? Sports. Easy answer. I would do sports in a heartbeat. Love sports, love football. Love all that. I'm in too many fantasy football leagues. Anyways, point is, we let's go over the weather forecast for those of you traveling out to the high school games out around the ArkLaTex here for Friday and for the college games on Saturday. As we just thoroughly went over, we have a good chance of storms here on Saturday. Guess what? All 3 of our ArkLaTex teams are out of town this coming Saturday, which normally I'd be like, oh, tear, sad, sad. That's actually a good thing. It's a good thing that all 3 ArkLaTex teams are out of town here for Saturday, so they don't have to deal with any of the storm activity or any of the wet conditions on the field to begin with. So that leaves the only concern, I guess, for football for those games that are going to happen in the ArkLaTex for many of our high schools here for tonight. Let's get into it. Let me get back to my control of my graphics. There we go. All right, high school football first and foremost. Talking about Friday night. So, 2 main differences. The first of which I want to go over is the temperatures. I know most of the concern is about the rain. I'll go over that here in just a moment. The temperatures, firstly, so much hotter than what it was last week. You remember last Friday night, we were hanging around in the 70s. It was pleasant around. Now you're back to your typical beginning of the year heat that starts off these seasons here in the ArkLaTex. You're starting off with temperatures around kickoff around 90 degrees. Keep in mind the humidity's still going to be there, so it's going to be feeling like especially right around 100 as teams are warming up. So hydrate, especially as you're heading into those games. It will be hot. Once the sun comes down, cools us off into temperatures in the lower 80s, at least through the game. But then you'll notice that chance for storms. Now, there's going to be a good amount of cloud cover around, and this will be around throughout most of the ArkLaTex here throughout the nighttime tonight. But there's a 20% chance of storms. I think if you are along or north of I-30, bring the rain gear just in case, because it is a legitimate possibility. And I really want to stress on the word possibility. I'd say there's a chance for it, but I wouldn't say it's likely at all. For areas like DeQueen, Idabel, even Texarkana to catch in on storms tonight. So bring the rain gear, bring the poncho, bring the umbrella, whatever you're going to keep yourself dry with, bring it. Because if these storms hit, they're going to be hitting with some heavy rainfall and some potential lightning as well that could delay the game. So watch out. This is not just going to be the baby storms that come through with some light rain. All right? This is going to be something that greatly impact you and probably force you onto the bleachers, essentially. But before you get into the bleachers, probably going to need the rain gear regardless. Poncho, umbrella, bring the rain gear if you're along or north of I-30. If you're south of I-30, I know it's going to be a little threatening with the cloud cover around, but I think you'll be dry. You should be dry if you're south of I-30. You got any games around Shreveport, Bossier? We should be fine here for tonight without the rain gear. Most of the rain doesn't come into Shreveport, again, as we mentioned, until early tomorrow. All right, and now as I just said, let's go to the college ranks. All 3 of our ArkLaTex teams are out of town. Let's start with NSU. They got the first win in a while last week in town. Believe it or not, I actually checked the schedule. NSU doesn't have a home game until October. It's quite a while. 3 straight road games and then a bye week, by the way. They're on the road this week, taking on Minnesota. I don't know, a little weird team, but yeah, our ArkLaTex teams are all over the place for this coming weekend. So Northwestern State's taking on the Golden Gophers of Minnesota up in Minneapolis. Look at those temperatures, 50s. Obviously Minnesota, so way up there, but still impressive nevertheless. They'll be catching on to some cooler temperatures up near there. Some cloud cover looks to build in for the second half of the game into the afternoon as that start time is around 11 a.m. But hopefully we should hold off on most of the rain through the game for those of you watching. So watch out for that. All right, next game up. Grambling. They are taking on maybe the toughest task in all of college football, Ohio State. By the way, they're ranked number 1 in the entire country in college football. Yes, yeah, for those of you who watched last weekend, Ohio State only allowed 7 points to Texas. So good luck to Grambling this weekend. To be fair, weather conditions over in Columbus, Ohio for 2:30 on Saturday are looking great. Temperatures, 60s, pleasant. Not only that, not really a chance of rain at all, and the conditions should be mostly clear. And the wind should be nice and calm. Yeah, honestly, you can't even ask for much better weather besides that. So good luck to Grambling. It's going to be a tough task for them, but hopefully they can keep it close. We'll see. Last game to go, or last college game to go over. I even forgot there's NFL. Why did I lead off with NFL stuff? I do have one NFL game to mention after this. LA Tech, they're staying in-state. They're staying closest out of the three teams. They're going to be traveling down to Baton Rouge here for Saturday night, taking on LSU at 6:30. LSU's first home game after they beat up Clemson last weekend. Pleasant conditions, maybe a little bit of cloud cover, but no rain is expected in Baton Rouge here for Saturday night. That'll be great. Will be a little hot, though. Temperatures still staying a little warm in for Saturday. Down a little closer to the I-10 corridor. It's 87 still for the kickoff time. For temperatures, it'll be a lot more reasonable in the lower 80s and upper 70s there for the rest of the game. And then we have NFL. Week 1 of NFL back in the ArkLaTex. Cowboys played last night. They barely lost in Philly. They dealt with a little bit of storms and even a rain. They had a weather delay last night in Philly, by the way. So that was intriguing to look at, but they still got through the game just fine. But we have one other team that we cover here on First Look with a Breakdown. That's the Saints. Saints still have their game at noon on Sunday. They will be playing in the Dome. They played their first 2 games of the season in the Dome in New Orleans. Start off the NFL season here this Sunday on noon. By the way, that game is also on KSLA News 12. Hey, that'll be nice. Temperatures nice and optimal, especially early in the season. It'll be a little warm, but I don't think it's going to be hot per se. End of regulation still in the afternoon. We have temperatures upper 80s. Even then, not much of a rain chance. 10% chance of a brief shower maybe forming in the afternoon. A brief stray shower, but that's almost as good as an early week game gets down in New Orleans, honestly. Again, I don't even think I mentioned who they'll be playing. They are playing the Arizona Cardinals this weekend. It matters too much. Good luck to them. I think they're playing 49ers in the following weekend down in the Dome as well. So hopefully you enjoyed the football forecast. The exclusive content, again, all those games, especially for Saturday and Sunday, are away from the ArkLaTex, away from the rain of Saturday, which we still have to get through at least in the morning hours. But hey, rest of Saturday and most of Sunday, both of those are looking A-okay, and they're looking great. All right, thank you to those of you watching the First Look Weather Breakdown. That's all I got here for the day today. Appreciate y'all for watching the Friday episode. This is always one of the most fun episodes I always look forward to. It might be also because football's involved as well. Next week, CJ will be back on. He should be back on Monday as your host then. He'll be back Monday at 10:30. I don't know what he's going to discuss. It'll be a surprise to me, but we'll keep you first alert with the weekly tropics updates. We have an interview coming next week. I do at least. That'll be in the later portion of next work week. And as usual, per Friday, around the season, we'll continue to keep you first alert all about those football forecasts when it comes to high school, college, and NFL. I believe Cowboys are playing on a Sunday next weekend, so we'll have more about that coming up next Friday. But hey, thanks for watching this entire week of First Look Weather Breakdown. Thanks for watching today if you just popped in today. Again, we do this every single weekday at 10:30 on the stream you're watching now. We're also on YouTube. I'd like to thank all the viewers that were on there as well. Appreciate y'all for joining us. Have a great weekend. Again, watch out for the storms that are going to hit tomorrow morning for the most part. Some of them might happen for you. Some of you late tonight. Some of you might happen and still stick around with storms here through the middle of tomorrow. We'll see. We'll continue to keep you first alert and tracking it. As always, you can download the First Alert Weather app whenever we're not on air, so you can just watch the radar app or watch the radar tap on our app itself. All right, it's weekend time here in the ArkLaTex. Again, just watch out for the storms. Stay weather aware. We'll see you again 10:30. Be there, be square, and most importantly, be weather aware. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a great and fantastic weekend ahead. I'll see you again on the noon show for the next weather update. Until then, have a fantastic weekend. Peace out.